I'd say we have this preconceived notion that a prison is just this awful, terrible, scary place. And of course some are, but we had no idea how nice this event would be.
It's very intimidating. So you walk in, you have to wear brightly colored clothes. You can't wear jeans or blue and the reason they tell you is in case there's a shooting, they want to know who to shoot and who not to.
So we ended up going through the process and getting stamped, and we're told there's these watchtowers with people with guns waiting for stuff.
Quite intimidating. These inmates don't see women a lot. They see the female guards, but other than that, so I always make a particular effort to wear my baggiest clothes because it can be quite uncomfortable as they will watch you and they will look at you.
But once we got into the recreational area, it was really nice. They had a stage, they had really open space, and plenty of opportunities to interact with the inmates.
I originally got started doing work at OSP through an invitation from the Toastmasters Club, but they got my contact information from a colleague of mine who teaches debate down at Willamette University. And Willamette had been going into the prison to do some demonstration debates there. And we got invited down for a demonstration debate. That's how Linfield got involved. And then the first summer that they did a class, my colleague from Willamette taught the debate class. Summer number 2, he handed it off to me, and I've kind of been doing it ever since.
Jackson started the debate tournament at the Oregon State Penitentiary, and he coaches a debate class over the summer. And so he's able to establish this relationship, so we are able to go in there about twice a year.
Usually you kind of feel this almost like you're supposed to be separated from them the entire time. I didn't think we would be able to be in such close proximity during the tournament, so I just found that really interesting.
So it's a really unique and kind of terrifying experience at first, but once you get in there, they only let the best inmates participate.
A lot of the guys who come into the class do not necessarily know the first few weeks of the class, particularly the beginners, that they really have permission to openly challenge one another, because they're in an environment where openly challenging another guy, explaining that his argument is wrong, might cause some real trouble or might lead to physical violence or other things. So having permission to disagree openly in a public setting is something that is not so difficult for the average college student to get a hold of, but it can be a slower process for the inmates to get up the courage to openly confront one another like that.
Well, there's always the generic questions like, should the United States legalize marijuana? But then there's also the more interesting questions like, should we abolish the death penalty? And so when you're really up and debating against people that potentially have the potential to be in that prerogative to be killed by the death penalty, it's really interesting. And you get to really see their side of the story and you get a new perspective.
And they did an amazing job. They got to touch on their experiences being within that type of environment, and just the overall debate was just amazing.
It shows how Linfield can give you the wide variety of experiences through not just debating in a small room on campus, but really taking us globally across the world, taking us across the country, and taking us into different dimensions and experiences that we would never experience otherwise.
I feel overwhelmingly blessed to have that type of opportunity because I had the chance of seeing a reality that not everyone can have the opportunity to see.